Hi, my name is Larry Reed with ZK Access. For the next 20 minutes, we're going to be introducing you to the fastest, easiest, least expensive means for currently Lenel or AMAG customers to upgrade to biometrics. We recently introduced the model OP200. OP200 is a fingerprint reader with a built-in card reader, and it's a keypad reader. And this reader uniquely integrates directly with AMAG Symmetry or Lenel on-guard software, unlike any other reader in the industry. The next 20 minutes will show you how we do that and how it's relevant in your business day to day. So how is the OP200 different than any other fingerprint reader in the industry? As mentioned, it uniquely integrates directly through firmware. And that means it's not using middleware like most of our competitors try to utilize in order to have integration between biometric readers and various third-party databases. So, is using middleware bad? Well, previously middleware was the only way you could actually integrate a biometric reader in many of these third-party access control databases. But now with firmware, yes, middleware is bad. First off, middleware can be quite expensive. It requires you to purchase a license from the vendor. With our readers, there's no middleware, there's no license to purchase, so that's immediate cost savings. In addition to that, if that middleware is downloaded to a computer that's running other various applications, well, now you risk latency with that middleware. So not only is middleware an unnecessary expense as far as ZK is concerned, now you have potential latency if it's running on a computer with other conflicting applications. Of course, it's also time consuming because after you've purchased your middleware license, you have to download it and you have to configure it. So that adds additional time to your installation, which with ZK, you don't have that expense. You also risk downtime, of course, because with third-party middleware, it's running on a computer and that computer needs to be up. Perhaps it might need redundant systems to maintain it and so on. So again, with ZK Access with direct firmware integration, there is no middleware, and that's why I'm bringing out the numerous downsides when using middleware. And with any software, of course, you'll need maintenance, and there'll be updates and patches, and there might be security holes found and so on. With firmware integration, none of that exists. And there's also the security risk when you download middleware onto a computer, because if the operating system is open, who knows, perhaps it had no vulnerability assessments, it might need patching as mentioned before. So you have all these unnecessary risks when utilizing middleware to integrate a biometric with a third-party access control database. And with ZK Access, you simply do not need middleware. So is middleware bad? Yes, it is when you have firmware available to it. So not to beat up on it too much, but that really is the biggest strength of having direct firmware integration. Because without middleware, again, there's no middleware license to purchase, nothing to download, and so on. So why would you choose any other biometrics provider other than ZK Access when you're doing a biometric upgrade for either Lenel, AMAG, and perhaps other manufacturers we'll soon be working with? So the rest of this conversation will pretty much point to how our product works with these environments, how to install it and operate it. And I encourage you, after this video, please do speak with our engineering team, perhaps get demo units, get your hands on it. You'll really be impressed once you see this product working live in action in your office. So again, direct firmware integration. Now, the nice part about these readers is they also install no differently than any other keypad reader or card reader that you've ever had. We have a diagram in this presentation. You'll note that all these readers have the Regan outputs. There's no decision making on this reader. We have the access control panel, the access control list make all those decisions. We are just storing and matching credentials on the reader, and then via Regan output then we communicate to that panel, then that panel makes a decision. As far as the network is concerned, either through TCP/IP, we communicate with those third-party databases, and once we know the location of the computer running that third-party application software, we then automatically synchronize all those user IDs and that user information to our OP200 master reader. This is the master, which also requires not only user data, but of course, all the biometric templates. With our readers, you'll notice there's also a keypad and display. We also make available a fingerprint enrollment reader, which will connect to the computer running that third-party access control software. So you can either enroll fingerprints directly on the reader, or you can roll them on the computer. And once those fingerprint templates are then downloaded to the master reader, all the slave readers on the network will automatically be synchronized with the master, so any changes from either the access control software user database or templates on the reader are then automatically distributed to all the slave readers. So once this setup is complete, it's really hands-free. All updates happen automatically as soon as there's a change in the user database or in the master reader as far as the templates are concerned. So what are some of the features with the OP200 firmware? Well, first and foremost, we have an encrypted connection with those third-party databases, so you can ensure there'll be no hacking during that communication. We also, as I mentioned before, not only WIG and output, but also OSDP to those panels. We have the enrollment of the biometric credentials on the readers. The OP200 model you see in my hands has fingerprint in addition to card and password, but in our next release we'll also introduce facial recognition. That's going to be truly unique offering. Of course, we're storing and matching credentials on these readers. We're also recording the transaction logs, so you can output this for auditing purposes. Some customers even use these for time and attendance recorders. So we're absolutely capturing transactions, so we can output those data records wherever you need. Of course, within the reader through firmware, you can do all the communication settings. As mentioned before, we're also automatically synchronizing all the user data and templates with all these slave readers. All the slave readers have the IP address of the master. So again, once any changes occur on the master reader or on that third-party access control database, everything is automatically synchronized. So it's all hands-free to your network administrators. And we also have automatic backing up of all the templates and transactions. In the event the master reader ever becomes damaged or vandalized or needs replacement, all that user data is backed up, templates are backed up, and this way they could be uploaded to the replacement reader. So very, very fast recovery time. As mentioned before, there's no middleware, so instead we have a web server built into the OP200. So again, no client software, web server. So what are the features of the web server? Well, we include the username and password authentication through the web server. We also have HTTPS encrypted sessions with the reader. So again, it's a very secure communication session you have with the OP200 when communicating. You also can enroll fingerprints through the web server when combined with our fingerprint enrollment capture device connected to that computer. Of course, you also want to be able to manage and configure all the slave readers. You can do that all through the web server as well. You can see all the transaction logs which are stored on the OP200, as well as the ability to output those to a computer, again for various different third-party applications, whether you're running audit trails, payroll, time and attendance, visitor management, and so on. Through the web server, you could also perform backup of all the templates and transactions. So again, you'll want that in case you need to replace the unit and run a very fast recovery. Occasionally, we do have firmware updates, as will any hardware device. And through the web server, you can also run diagnostics on the device as well. So there you have the web server functionality. As far as the installation, it could not be simpler. All these devices, just like any keypad reader, all run on 12 volts. They all run on TCP/IP and so on. So the best way to set it up is to first bring power. And by the way, we also now have PoE splitters. So in the event that you don't want to run direct power, you could also just have a network cable dropped. So you bring power, network cables to all the locations for the master reader, and then for all the slave readers. And when you set up the master reader, you will want to make a note of the IP address of the master reader, because you'll be inputting that into all the slave readers. So that once everything is online, those slave readers know where to receive those updates, and they're constantly speaking to the master reader for all those updates. So installation from a hardware perspective could not be easier. The one piece of software you do need to run is a small driver that you'll install on the computer that's running your access control software, and that's simply so that that computer recognizes the hardware that we attach to it. So very, very small driver, and that's really the only piece of software you need with our solution. So once everything is installed, operation cannot be easier. Once the OP200 reader goes online and sees that third-party access control software, and at the time of this recording, that currently pertains to Lenel and AMAG, the user data is automatically downloaded to the OP200. At that point, you can begin enrolling fingerprint templates Again, you can either enroll on the OP200 master itself, or you can use the computer that's running the Symmetry or OnGuard software, launch our web server, and enroll directly on that PC, and then download the templates to the master. Once the master has all that user data and templates, it's automatically synchronized with all those slave writers, so the slave readers now, for all intents and purposes, are operational. When the users approach the slave reader, they can either authenticate with their finger, with a card, with a password, or any combination of those three credentials. All those slave readers will already have all those credentials in their databases, which are all now embedded. We'll do all that matching, and upon a positive match, they'll simply send a weekend output or OSTP communication to the panel, and then the panel makes a decision. So again, in the event that you're using a Lenel or AMAG installation, AMAG and Lenel are making the decisions to open up the doors, not the OP200 readers. They're simply just doing storing and matching of credentials. So in a nutshell, you've seen now that the OP200 is the fastest, easiest way to add biometric readers to any Lenel or AMAG installation, and it's also very, very affordable. So reach out to your distributors. This is now in production, and please do either ask your distributor or contact ZK Access if you have any questions. Thank you for your time.